LFG.
All right, all right, all right. You just heard David. We got the show going. It's a Monday night. We're glad you guys are here. If you haven't seen him, well, here he is in person. It's Damien Lee. Thank you very much for all coming. If you know
Oh,
Damien
thank
Lee,
you,
he's
sir.
one of the great guys that comes around in the chats. He's been on a couple of shows and been called in on, and we are very pleasured to have him here in person to talk 49ers with. So, Damien, thank you again for coming.
Oh, thanks for having me.
So, we are going to talk a little bit about, 49ers. We like to have a guest on, and Damien, you are our guest. So, we'd like to just, hear a little bit about yourself. Tell us, where you're from, how you become a 49er fan, and anything you want to add to it.
I've been a Niner fan since '81. That lovely pass from Joe to Dwight Clark sealed the deal. Let me see. What caused? I mean, I like what drove me to him is the fact that I grew up with Bill Walsh, competitiveness. That's what I like about Steve DeBerg, Joe Montana, Gerbach, Bono. They all competed for their job. They earned them. You know, that's what made this team, what it was in the '80s and '90s. And, I mean, you have to. I mean, the way they won was style and class, which is not like a lot of today's games. Everybody played for like a team. You know, every
Mm-hmm.
Super Bowl they won was, a good narrative. David slays Goliath, and remember Dan Marino. Sorry about that.
Mm-hmm.
Remember Chris Collinsworth and Kenny Anderson, Chris Collinsworth again, and Norman Boomer Esiason, Thielens, John Elway, and my personal favorite against the Chargers.
Yeah, I
I
I got to
mean,
see the Charger
I've
one. Yeah.
I've never been into. Well, what I like about Bill Walsh is, and I do think we do need to name the stadium after him, Walsh Stadium.
Hmm.
That's what it needs to be
Mm-hmm.
called. He put in his work. So you have Hall of Famers all up and down both sides of defense and offense. 10 square, 10 deep. Can't beat it. I mean, my problem is I think we don't have no rivals, and that's what we're missing. And my biggest concern is the fact is I think we're gonna get knocked out in the first round because we have that entitled mentality right now.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nobody. And my biggest fear is gonna be the Giants. They're good at it.
Mm-hmm.
The Giants have hurt us more than any other team in the NFL in the playoffs. I'm not worried about the Cowboys and their lies and dreams. Not worried about, Seattle. Not worried about the Lions. Worried about the Giants.
Yeah.
So you said we don't have a rival.
Not in
So
our not in our conference right now.
right now, okay,
Not
okay,
right now. I mean, when Aaron left, that was it. I mean, I'm
Okay,
looking.
I see it.
I mean,
Uh,
Dallas is like about 2 years behind. I think the Giants are a dark horse. They really are. They got their quarterback, they running back, and they got a defense.
I like that. I really do because you think about it. Aaron Rodgers was kind of our rival there for a little while. We did, expect to play him in the end of the season when we were typically good, right? So now he's not in the NFC. He's in the AFC, and it's the same thing kind of with what happened with Russell Wilson with the Seahawks. If you say we have like a rival, I would say it'd be the Seahawks. But with them changing the guards, and him going to the AFC again, we don't really have somebody that we're really locked up to right now. I mean, what would you say, Matthew Stafford? But he hasn't really put in the time, has he? He's only played one healthy season against us, and then like last year, it's been I agree. I totally agree. So, Walsh Stadium, I like that. That's a beautiful idea. We were talking the other day about if you could rechange the stadium name, and I've seen you throw that out there, and I think that's a beautiful name. You definitely did build that stadium, and the dark horse team for the Giants. I can see that happening because the Giants are built to play us. They're not built to go air it
Mm,
out. They're built to like scrap. They're built to stop the run. They're built to run on you. They're built to like sneak those catches in and get those first downs when they have to. They're not trying to pass the ball. They're trying to fight, and they're trying to, win with might over will, I guess, or with their will, over finesse. They're a gritty team, and when it comes down to them playing us in the playoffs, I do not want to play the Giants in the playoffs. Shout out YTC, but no, I do not want to see the Giants in the playoffs because whatever
history.
whatever it is. I mean, like, we've had I don't want to say his name, but I will. Kyle Williams. We've had Roger Craig. We've had multiple players fumble at pinnacle points of the game, and we lose, and they win by a field goal.
Field
A
goal.
field goal. So yeah, great points. Great points.
I
So,
mean,
real quick, let's shout out the chat. We got, No Border Sports in here. We all know Ryan, great guy. We got John Jay. We got Crazy Juice, David Corona. Crazy Juice, great guy. My wife, Tony Culp's in here. We have Carcast. He's also got a great show. Great content creator. We got a lot of people in here. And now, one of the great friends of the channel too just popped in. If you don't know him, I'm gonna bring him up right here. He likes to change his name every once in a while, but I like to call him Stevo, and it's balling it up today. So hey, shout out to you guys all for showing up and coming in. So
Yep, chat's pineapples.
really quickly, um, chats popping, really popping. So all right, so you've been a fan since like the '80s. You threw out a bunch of
mhm.
49er legends.
Yeah.
Let's I got to ask you, where are you located at? I think that's going to be the home run hitter quitter question.
10 minutes away from Cowboy Stadium.
So you are
In
in,
enemy
in
territory.
oh boy,
Mhm.
I really feel for you, man. I feel for you.
Mm-mm. No, I
Um,
don't. Mm-mm. No.
well, I'm in Stockton, California, and if you're familiar, the 49ers used to have a training camp here in Stockton in the late 90s, like between
Yeah.
97, 99, I believe. And I live right behind UOP where they had the stadium at, where they had the training camp. So I'm centrally located in the valley, and yeah, 49er fan since I've been born. I've had baby pictures with me in Niner clothes, and it's funny for me. My dad's a Raider fan, and I looked at him one day and said, "Well, why do you have me in Niner clothes?" And he said, "That's what your grandma bought you." I ain't wasting clothes. And I'm like, he's like, "You're gonna spit up on them anyways, just as soon as I put them on." I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" So he's like, "We got a picture of you for your grandma. She was happy, and then next thing you know, we changed you out of that." And I was like, "Oh boy!" So my dad, he's not the biggest sports guy. So by the time I was sitting there watching I think the first game I got to see, I was watching the San Diego 49er Chargers Super Bowl. I got to see like half of it with my family, and they had a little party, and it was really cool. Next year, it was the Dallas Cowboys Super Bowl, and I watched that with my dad, and I didn't know it at the time either because I thought, hey, we're 49er fans. Well, the following season, when Green Bay went to the Super Bowl, I believe against
Yeah.
against the Patriots.
Yep.
Oh man, he got all excited about that game, and I'm like, hey, my dad and me, we like football, right? Well, I think it was the following season. I asked him, I said, "You're a 49er fan, right?" He's like, "No, I'm a Raider fan." And I'm like, "A Raider fan? Who's the Raiders?" Again, I'm like super new to football, and uh, after that, he bought not season tickets. He bought his preseason tickets to go see the Niners, the Raiders in Oakland for the first time because they had moved back to Oakland, and the Niners and the Raiders hadn't played the Battle of the Bay yet. So I took the whole family up there, and it was kind of scary seeing enemy territories, and the Battle of the Bay gets kind of really ugly there. And Seen people getting in fights and jerseys getting ripped off, and I just I couldn't figure out or fathom why somebody would like rip someone's jacket off and throw it over the stadium. But I seen it happening, and I was just like, oh my gosh. And my dad, my dad kept us all safe and everything. We had a great time seeing Jeff Garcia score I think the winning touchdown in that preseason game. But yeah, I just never, I don't know. I mean, like, I've never gotten that aggressive where I have to fight somebody because they're a different fandom, but I definitely like to talk a little bit, but, hey, that's me. David, let me throw it to you. We got Damien on. I know he's a good buddy of yours. So any questions before we get into these questions we got?
Well, I want to hear your thoughts on the Seahawks because, a lot of people think that they've been our rival, but yeah, I definitely want to hear your thoughts on that.
The Seahawks are an AFC team. That's like pulling the Broncos over to the NFC. It don't fit. You have like mostly people that's like under 24 that believe that. Because that's all they know is like the Seattle in the NFC. They don't know that Seattle was the Broncos and the Raiders and the Chargers rivals. They're not a rival. They're like a sporty car. They're not a rival. Mm-mm. And I feel bad for Ellen and her brother.
Yep.
But
Mr. DeGeneres, Pete DeGeneres. Yep.
Yeah, Pete and Ellen, her brother.
Hey, we got a lot of people in the chat. Shout out to Jay in the Bay for coming through. What's good? Oh my gosh. Really appreciate you guys coming through. So today's topic, again, we got Damien Lee, our great guest. We're going to be asking him some great questions about, enemy territory, the Dallas Cowboys 49er rivalry. Let's expand this a little bit, David, with the Seahawk question. Damien Lee, what do you think about the Seahawks and the Niners rivalry? When do you think we had a turning point, and have we really taken control of this? Because the overall record is, I want to say 20-30, and we just barely got to 20. So they've had Mike Holmgren, they've had Matt Hasselbeck, Sean Alexander, and we went through a moment where we weren't doing very much out of anything to them. So, like this picture right here, I'm gonna bring up. This I think is 2006 when we were able to go up there with Alex Smith and actually beat the Seahawks. We beat them in Santa Clara prior to this. But, this is like that moment where it was like, this guy maybe never will ever get the monkey off his back. But if this was the closest pinnacle point for him to do that, I think this was that game, because they go up to Seattle, they finally win. And, again, our overall record, since they've come to the NFC is 30-20 right now. The Seahawks have had our number. I think it's because really they've had consistency with their coaches. But for us, it's we've been building a team when we get so close, and then our quarterback gets hurt. So again, what's your thoughts on the big ugly Seahawks up there? And what is a Seahawk? I think that's like a mythical creature, or is that some kind of bird that they made up? A fancy pigeon.
I mean, they called us. That's the one team that'll get you. And I can take an L with Seattle. Yeah. They don't have enough rings. They just got one. They have one ring. One ring.
Mm-hmm.
We have 5.
Yeah.
So I like Seattle. I respect them. They're just to me, they're a first round knockout.
They don't seem to be the same team that they were in the past. And even with Mike Holmgren and Sean Alexander, they had this running ability. They had just there was just a bigger, even though we have more rings at that time, they just were bigger, stronger than us. They just seemed to be more, 2004, 2005, we were very, very, we were a
They
horrible
caught
team.
us at a bad cycle. They caught us at a bad cycle. That's all that was. All
Yeah,
teams go through them. So they caught us when we was, low on gas. You know,
yeah,
Yep.
Pete and his sister Ellen, they just took over, and that's fine.
yeah.
But I
They
don't
they
see
did
it.
they
I
gutted
don't
us
see it
at
as a
that
rivalry
time.
though.
We've lost a lot of players. Going to
We
them because
we
of
didn't
our.
have we didn't have a stable coaching situation. We didn't have a stable team. We was
Mhm.
going through meltdown.
Yeah, we seem to lose players to them all the time when they go on our practice squad. Seahawks seem
Hmm.
to pick them up. Next thing you know,
Hmm.
they're up there starting and really doing well. And it's like, hey, we let them go. Why did we let them go? Seattle couldn't seem to do something good for them. So, yeah, I just oh man, like I really want to get
There's
over
always gonna be that
Seattle.
one team. There's always gonna be that one team. Once you find it, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah,
Let them. They can have it. I mean, now
the whole
when it comes to teams like Pittsburgh, Dallas, New York, um, Green Bay, Denver, and New England, then it's different. I respect rings.
yeah, that's definitely something to be said. And it's like Seahawks, they have some rings. They've had some ring appearances. Let's say it like that.
That's it.
Um,
That's like being engaged. You're not married.
yeah, yeah, and that's the sad thing. Yes, they've had ones, prior to us, but we've had some. We've been engaged since then, right? We can say it like that too. We got up there and
No,
we
we've
just.
been we've been married 5 times.
But you know what I'm saying. We've had two. We've had
Like
two
Liz
appearances
Taylor.
there, and I mean, we should be 7 times married, right? We should be one of those fantastic grandmas that everybody, is like, hey, my grandma's got 7 marriages. You're like, whoa, So that's what I'm getting at.
Shout out to
We've
Liz
been
Taylor.
there, right? We've been there. We just haven't got it done since then. Since then, and they they've had the chance, but then they did the same thing we did. And I think with the Ravens Super Bowl, we tried Crabtree 4 times in the end zone. And then what? It was the following Super Bowl. The Seahawks tried to go up there and they tried to do it, but they did it, with Russell Wilson. And instead of just giving it to beast mode and letting them run in, they tried to, they tried to top us. And I think that's where they got caught. So, hey, again, I'm looking forward to it. And really quickly, we'll get into this. But have you got an opportunity to see when we play the Seahawks this year?
I think like early.
Yes. So if you guys don't want it, you don't mind, let's just do it real quick. David, do you have a problem jumping into the season real quick? We'll go
Nope.
quick. All right.
Not at
I'm
all.
going to put us to the side and probably cover our face. But Damien, I want to hear your thoughts on the schedule. And, if you want to give us an early prediction, that'd be great. There is a
13 and
stretch.
4.
I
13
love
and
it.
4.
I love it. There is a fun stretch where we're going to be going bird hunting. So everybody get set. And if you want to throw your comments in the chat and tell
Change
us
my
what you're
mind.
predicting.
Make that 12-5 because I want to give the Rams the last game. I'm gonna let the Rams have that one. Let them have it. I'm
All
resting
right.
everybody. I'm let,
Ooh.
I'm we're gonna rest everybody.
All right. So Pittsburgh on the road. Pittsburgh's going to be tough, because they don't lose at
Mike
home.
Tomlin. Mike Tomlin.
And yeah, and they got rings. They do have rings. Then we go to the Rams, and that's not going to be very far from Levi, so that's kind of like a home game. Then we're playing Thursday night against the Giants, and this is a scary game because it's prime time, and like you and me both have the same vibes. I think with the Giants, they're like that dark horse team. We play the Cardinals, and then we play the Dallas Cowboys, and it's on a Sunday night. And I think this is one of the first times we've playing the Cowboys Sunday night in like I want to say like 20 years or something. It's been a long time. Um,
Mm-mm.
I could be wrong, but it's been
Yeah,
a long time since Sunday night. So then we play the Cleveland Browns, play the Vikings on Monday night. So we're gonna be playing Kirk Cousins on prime time. I like that.
I do too.
We go to play the Bengals, and I really like that game too. I really want to see what uniforms they're playing in because I think that will give us the turn. I like seeing what color teams they're playing. Then we go on our little run here. We go to Jacksonville. We're going to Tampa Bay, playing probably Baker Mayfield. And this is when we get into the thick of it. We're playing Seattle on Thanksgiving in Seattle. I want to eat turkey in Seattle.
Mm.
I want to see that happen. I'm super glad because this is the late game. This is the game in the evening, so everybody can have turkey dinner in the morning or in the afternoon, and then hopefully be able to stomach the game. If it does turn sour, you don't lose your dinner. Because I'm not eating Thanksgiving at nighttime for this game. Usually, I would have more of a dinner, but this game we're going to try to have it like lunchtime because I want to be all in on this game. I don't want to see the Seahawks prevail, and I want to see the Niners eat some drumsticks out there, some turkey legs on the 50 or something. What's your thoughts on that?
Ooh, nervous about that game. We got to jump out early on them. Get like a 2 touchdown lead, and that'd be good. Milk the
Yeah,
clock. Get 2 touchdowns on them, milk the clock. Get the ball first at halftime.
I like it. And then this is where we're jumping into the bird hunt. So we go Seattle, Philadelphia. We're going to Philadelphia. 2 road games in a row. Philadelphia is supposed to have a pretty hard schedule this year, so that might give us a little bit of turn in favor. But I always want to play a
Or
team.
expose fraud. Expose frauds.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I still want to play.
Even Hargrave said that we would have won that game if we would have had, Brock, and that's his own team.
Yeah, there's a
Mm-mm.
lot. There's a lot of telling for that team, but I still want to play them at their strongest. Like when they're, that's when you want to beat, the team. You
Mm-hmm.
want to beat them when there's no injuries. So even if we go to Philly and I know they're having a rough schedule, I'd like to see a really good dogfight there. Then we go back to California and we're playing the Seahawks. I don't understand this like play a game and then skip a game and then we're playing you again like peekaboo. I don't get this, Damien. I really don't.
I've seen something like that before. We did that with the Rams one year.
Yeah,
Like
they're doing it
recently,
more
we
and
did it.
more. Yeah, and they're doing it more and more with different teams. And I guess it's just the scheduling, but I think they could be a little bit more clever with how they break this down. And I know they got a calculator and somebody's got a computer and they're just laying it out, but there's some funny math here. So we're leaving. We're now playing the Seahawks at Santa Clara, which I would rather. If we have to take an L to the Seahawks, I'd rather do that in Santa Clara because I want that Thanksgiving game, right? I know I said it. Now we're playing
Mm.
the birds, the barbecue birds. The what are they called, David? I keep forgetting what you say. The Arizona
Red chickens. Red
The
chickens.
red.
red chicken.
Yeah,
Yep.
and we go to Arizona, play them there. So this is a good game for us because it is a cooler game for us. It's not going to be so hot for Arizona at the time. It's December, so that's not going to be such a bad thing for us. But Arizona this time they should probably have Kyler Murray back. I don't know if the team's gelling at this point, but still, it's a divisional
No,
opponent. We play him
they're
twice.
leaving.
Oh man, I'm just thinking this is a game we don't sleep on. I just don't want to go overconfident in any game. So now we go Monday night versus one of the teams I hate almost the most in the NFL, the Baltimore Ravens, and it's a Monday night game. It's versus Baltimore, so that means they're coming out here, and this is a Christmas game. So I've said it a couple times. My kids have a good Christmas. I'm happy. If we win the game, I'm happy too. But this would be my second loss in the season, and I'm saying overall record 15-2. And I'm saying that I got a bad feeling about Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Those are my two. I'm saying.
Um, I have Pitt, Rams, Baltimore. Mm, shit. There's one we're gonna lose that I'm missing. So that's gonna be my sleeper. And
About the Bengals.
we own Chris team. We own the Collinsworths. I think my fifth loss is gonna be against Seattle. I have 4 that I know of and one that's gonna surprise me. So that's my 5 right there.
All right. Yeah, and then we'll just finish out real quick. We go into the Commanders, and it's the Commanders.
They got
I don't
defense.
know.
They have defense.
They
Everybody's on
got a
that contract.
defense. Yeah, that's a good point. Like they play like the Giants in a little ways. They're a defensive team. They're going to get under our chest pads. They're going to get underneath our face mask. They're going to play a really tough game. Love to try to see if we could get Chase Young from them, but I don't see that happening.
We can check by week 8. We can get it by then. We just got to put some. We got to put up some trade value for it.
And then I love what you said about looking at the Rams. The Rams is one of those teams. It's like it's at the end of the year, and if
they can have
we're winning,
they can have.
Yeah. Why?
They can have.
Why? I know
because we can rest everybody that game.
Exactly. At a certain point, you just have to say we gotta be smart. Going healthy. So I said 15-2. You said 12-5. Damien, I think David said 14-3, 13-4, somewhere around there. And yep. I think that's really solid. So again, the reason I'm just not scared, but I'm just like a little aware of the Pittsburgh Steelers. They haven't lost since 2014. They're usually on the road since then, but they typically
that's
don't.
That's why I haven't lost on them.
Yeah, but they're just one of those, they're one of those teams. They're a blue collar team. You don't know about them, they're not going to be super flashy. They do have a rookie quarterback, but that's why we don't sleep on them. And we've been starting out a little slow. I don't like that argument, like Niners start out slow, but it is kind of what we've been doing for a while. So I could see it happening. And then the Ravens is just one of those teams. It's like they have an elusive quarterback running around. The reason I would see us losing maybe possibly to the Ravens instead of the Eagles, I think the Niners are going to be a little bit more invested in the Eagles. And where the Ravens are going to be a little bit more like, hey, it's Christmas time, and then, they're not going to be trying to lay it all out. They're going to be thinking maybe we already have the division, especially if they're like, 13-1 at that point. They're not going to. So that's kind of my mentality on that one. But all right. So, with you living in Dallas, well, close to Dallas, right? And you living in enemy territory, we have a lot of players that went back and forth. And I know you could probably name a handful of them. So if there's anybody that you want to throw out there real quick, because I got a couple.
Haley, Dion, Norton Jr.
Yeah.
We picked up the Cowboys had a wide receiver number 88. Like when we had what was his name? We had Antonio Bryant, but he had problems. We picked him up from the Cowboys.
He played for the Browns and I think the Cowboys. And
he went to the Browns.
We let him go because he got a DUI that year, right after the season. And I was really rooting for the guy. I wanted to get his jersey because my name's Bryant, and I just thought it would be cool.
He was good. I mean, he was good here. He was good here. He just had that problem.
Yeah. Sometimes
kind of like a Reuben Foster. I love Reuben Foster, and he still married that woman.
He did, hey, sometimes it's that good, right? And shout out to arguments, sometimes it's feelings and it's emotions and stuff like that, but you got to be able to put it in check. And you have to understand too, you got to be able to go to work. So if you're beating on each other and you can't go to work the next day, that's not a good idea. You got to be able to pay the bills. You got to be able to eat the next day. And there's a joke, if you're gonna get in a fight, you might as well do it Friday night, right? Because you can stay there Saturday and Sunday and get out on Monday, right? Well, no, you still have to wait for the judge to come in there and see you, right? So when are you going to get in? It's best not to get into a fight. It's best not to go to jail because either way, you got to go and see somebody. You got to wait to get out. And sometimes, like jobs will just let you go if you go to jail. If you get arrested, it's like, hey, boom, you're gone. We can't have you here. And that's maybe what more or less than the NFL should start doing. Maybe they should have a stricter player, conduct code.
They need better counseling. They need better counseling for players.
Yeah,
because we could have had Foster and Warner at the same time.
Yeah, we could have.
That would have been good.
We were talking the other day on one of the streams, and we brought it up. I think Corey had brought it up, or it was Ryan No Border Sports, but they had said, like it's only going to be like $2 billion to have health insurance for the majority of the NFL current players for the rest of their lives or something. And I don't know if that includes past, but that's what they threw out there. There was this number, and we had suggested, well, how much does the Cowboys cost? Like they're like what, 6.2 billion, $8.2 billion franchise.
$5.
The NFL is not making enough money where they can't, set this universal health care up or something like that for these players where they could, whatever happens. We had like people like Chris Borlander, the players that just leave because of the concussion. Steve Young. There's been so many issues where players have stepped away because Patrick Willis. I've said it before. If I could give him my feet, I'd give him my feet. So he could still be playing because his guy's toes are just. So for players like that, and like mental health is something that
Or Megatron, Calvin Johnson, his hands.
Oh my gosh. So for like exactly what you said too with the mental health, that's an aspect of the game right now where they need counseling, and maybe they need better counseling. Trey Lance right now is going through, and we shouldn't really currently know that, but great social media has let us know that he's going through therapy. So I think again, like if they could sell the Cowboys, if they don't want to sell the Cowboys, okay, but that's a $6.8 billion team, and we only need $2 billion. I mean, like, let's do it. Let's figure out how we can get these players some universal health care where they're not going to be, strapped for the rest of their lives because they went out there and got into car crashes, like George Kittle said, or whatnot. But
well, we should have money because we have that TV deal coming in next year, so there should be money coming in to cover that.
So, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So that should cover that.
Well, on top of that, did you guys know that the NFL is a non-profit organization? That's what the NFL claims to be. Now, I think how they're getting around it is the owners are the ones making the money. I think that's how they get around it, but I don't know. They're supposedly a non-profit organization. And it's like, if that's the case, then why can't you guys pay for health care for these guys that have been in the league?
So it's kind of like the Rams. It's non-profit.
Yeah. Shout out to the Rams and their lights going out during their draft party.
Outstanding.
Shout out to Reggie Bone. I think first time I've seen you. I really appreciate you coming through. We do have the great Damien on. Really good.
That's my boy.
Guy.
That's my boy.
Really appreciate you coming through. If you like, subscribe. We really appreciate that. But more importantly, stay tuned for the show because we got some questions for Damien. So shout out to your boy right here, Reggie Bone, Tear Down, Crazy Juice, Bebop just jumped in, and I mean again the chat's just balling, just really balling.
Platform 246. Lawrence hopped in for a minute. So
yeah, I've been going through the comments and we haven't been able to shout you all out, but we really appreciate coming through. So you had said Deion. So have you heard what's going on with Deion Sanders recently?
I heard about his foot. I think they talking about amputating it or something like that.
Yeah, it's a little sad.
Blood circulation. That's a blood circulation thing, and his foot goes numb, and it's damaging his nerves. So I heard that he was going in for a surgery, and they're trying not to amputate it. So I don't know what they did to try to open up his. I think his blood vessels were collapsing. Something to that effect is what I was reading.
Okay, is it that same foot he had problems with in Green Bay when he wore, that time when he went and played Green Bay and he didn't wear socks in the cold and he lost one of his toes? He became non-toe Deion. Is it that same foot where he has 4 toes?
Man.
Because if so, is it that same foot?
So I read the article, and I think I might have read the same thing that David read, but I'm not positive. But it did say that he's lost toes before. So
against Green Bay. Against Green Bay.
Wow. See, I'm a little younger than you guys. I know a little bit, but I don't know. That's why I want to have people like you guys come on so we can
This
talk.
was like in this was like in '95. This is like when he went to Dallas. Barry Switzer was a coach.
Wow. Okay, so I'm going to write that down. Now I have homework.
I don't know. I mean, It might be this. I mean, it might be the same foot with four toes on it. I don't know. I just know he had one of his foot. It was one of his feet.
Wow. Oh man. Okay, so yeah, I was going to ask you exactly that if you've heard about his foot, and so we touched on that just a little bit. I'm gonna bring the picture up real quick because I know we've probably all seen good pictures of him, but I like this picture of Dion. Let's talk about him for a minute. Him between the Dallas Cowboys and the 49ers and what it kind of did to the franchises. So that's a good picture. Got still our faces. You guys can see all of our great faces here. But yeah, this is the man. I think those are probably one of the best uniforms. I really truly like that pattern. But especially for this year, it just makes me smile. You know, this is the team. Um, what you guys think? I mean, like he left Atlanta, then he comes to us. We go to the Super Bowl, and then I was watching a video today. I guess he was stolen away from us the following year. Did he play for us?
No, he just signed a 1 year contract.
Okay. Because what I was listening to, I was like a little confused because it made it sound like they took him during the middle of the season the following year, and I was like, I don't think that happened.
I don't think him and Jerry Rice got along.
He was playing baseball and football, and what happened was the baseball season ended, and he was an NFL free agent, so we signed him. And that's actually when the corner competition started, and we had Merton Hanks and Eric Davis starting at corner before Dion came, and then those guys were playing so good that Seaford was like, I can't take these guys off the field, so he moved Merton Hanks to safety, and then I mean, dude. There were certain formations where you needed to bring in a nickelback because the offense had 3 wide receivers coming up. They didn't even do it. They just brought Merton Hanks on up and let them all cover man on man.
I really like Dion. The guy could play both sides of the field. He was a game changer. I really wish we could have kept him another season. I think that probably would have given us another ring there. I know was it the following season? Was it the 95-96 season or was it the 96-97 season? I believe it was the 96-97 season where we lost Bryant Young and Jerry Rice. They both had leg injuries. But, man, guys, yeah, just this is one of those players. It's like, generational player. It's just one of those things. It's like the way the rules worked for him, everything just at that time. If you had him on your team, you were winning a ring. So I don't know what happened to him after that. I know he ended up jumping around. I know he ended up being on the Ravens there for, I think, the ending of his career. But I think his following season after winning the ring with the Cowboys, I don't know. Again, I don't really root for the Cowboys. But I know the Cowboys weren't able to keep everybody together. They had Emmitt Smith there a little longer and Troy Aikman. But even with that team, they just weren't the same after that 96 season, that 95-96 season. So I don't know. Maybe they just, once you get to a certain point, and then maybe they took a breath when they found out we were out of competition for that.
It was Jimmy. Jimmy was the problem. Jimmy was the one that had discipline. Barry Switzer was lazy. I mean, he let if you look at the police report when they had Jimmy Johnson and Barry Switzer, it's a big difference.
Yeah, because he ended up leaving. He ended up leaving the Cowboys and went to. Did he go to the Saints first or the Dolphins? He went to the Dolphins, right? No, the Saints.
He went to the Dolphins. No. Yeah, he got into it with Marino.
Yeah. So
prima donna.
Oh boy. And then what's going on with Marino? I mean, like, did we hurt him that bad in the Super Bowl where he wasn't able to ever contend again? I mean, like the guy put up stats, but he just never. I don't know. Okay, before we move on, let's take a pause because I just have a great question. Would you have rather had Troy Aikman on the 49ers or, Dan Marino?
Troy.
Ooh, really? Oh, wow. Got to tell me why.
I stay loyal to win. He's a winner. Coming from experience, he's a winner.
Troy Aikman did win a lot of games. He might not
And
have the deepest arm, but he had a good arm. He had a good arm. Marino, he could
Troy will win the
really
game.
whatever it was in Marino. He just didn't have that. He won a
Mm-hmm.
lot of games, but he just didn't have that championship game, huh? Just
No, Dan Marino was like a Dan Fouts, but
what do you think, David? Would you have rather had uh, Dan Marino on the 49ers or Troy Aikman?
I would rather have Troy Aikman because Dan Marino made it to the promised land and couldn't get it done. He ran into a brick wall, a red and gold brick wall.
Mm-hmm.
And Troy Aikman got it done 3 times.
Yeah, yeah, and just two like different quarterbacks, right? Like one just did it on his arm, the other one did it off, basically handed it to Emmett. But he threw a lot of passes to Irvin. He did. So I just think
Alvin
that
Harper.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So they were a good team there. That was a good unit there.
yeah.
So all right, so let's see. My next question, my next picture show slide. Let's get back to we'll go back to defense. We'll keep it defense. All right. So this guy right here, this was our juggernaut. This was our guy before we had Dion. This is probably the reason we slowed down. What's your thoughts, Damien? And Charles Haley.
I like his veteran leadership. He was good. He was good. He was like our version of like Reggie White.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I hate watching him come to the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I mean, but the trade off was we got Ken Norton Jr. So I was okay with that.
Yeah.
I like that picture though.
That's a cool picture. Elway was a good quarterback, but he was just like Marino there for a short period of time until he got Mike Shanahan, until he got a dominant run game. So, but he can do it. He can make this. He was just like Dan Marino there for a moment. So
Another quarterback that's supposed to slice us up.
and another quarterback who wanted to play, two sports or whatnot. A baseball player, football player. Supposed to have went to the Colts, but decided that wasn't where he wanted to be and threw a fit. And next thing you know, he got to go to Denver. And I mean, I guess if you really don't want to go to a team that bad, then they should have something where you could say it, like privately, where it shouldn't come out in the open. But now we have him. I know there's been other examples. We have Eli Manning. It's just one of those things. It's just like, I think this is really bad publicity for the NFL. It shows, like, even on their part as a player, like you're going to throw a fit.
It shows immaturity.
Yes.
And that's why I disagree. I want the public to know if they do something like that, let the world know what they're doing. Let everybody see they threw a temper tantrum.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just one of those things. It's like you're supposed to be an adult. You are old enough to be an adult. You can vote. You can drink. You can buy lottery tickets. You can do a lot of things in different states. So we'll keep it clean like that. But at the end of the day, at the end of the day, right? You got to keep it real. You're getting paid how many millions of dollars? You need to be mature, and they're paying you that much because you're only going to be ideally playing for this amount of time.
I think wasn't it Archie that told Eli not to go to New York? It's been some years. David, you might know. I think Archie told Eli not to go there.
I think Archie had a problem with San Diego because of the way they treated him in the past. It was something to do with the Spanos, I believe, the owners. And he told him not to go to San Diego. But then they ended up going to New York. So I don't think New York was his first choice, but because they had chosen Phillip Rivers, they were willing to do a quarterback, switch. I don't know if it worked out for either franchise. It kind of did for Eli, but again, if it wouldn't have been for special teams, he wouldn't have had those championships. So
If you look at Eli's regular season numbers, he's just an
He's
average
better.
QB. then he hits the playoffs, and he did really good. Those Giants teams had like a fantastic pass rush, a great running game, and Eli Manning just had to complement that. So it's not like he had to be like a Dan Marino, John Elway, Joe Montana, Steve Young, type of QB. He didn't actually have to do that.
yeah, not at all.
Shout out to
Not at all.
YTC.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably our only favorite Giant player, fan. But no, the Giants are. I do not like the Giants. Those are not the team.
Yeah,
All right,
that's bad. Yeah, that's bad. I don't like that.
all right. So we'll
I,
move
I,
off of Charlie Haley. He's
I was still. I would take Drew Brees over him. I mean, what was it? I'd take Philip Rivers over Eli.
Ooh.
I would. Him and his all 11 kids he have.
Oh, are
Yeah.
you talking about Philip Rivers? Philip Rivers
Yeah.
Yes.
had all the kids. You know, Philip Rivers, he was a good quarterback. He had that weird throwing motion, but he still was good. There was a point in time I thought, well, if we would have got him just for a short period of time, the Niners would have been decent with him as a backup, even if he didn't want to play, like the starting role, because he went to Indianapolis his last season, and I think he was interested in signing with another team. But no, we want to go and ask somebody like Big Ben, who's won multiple Super Bowls, for a franchise, who's basically a hero in that town and would come out like a villain if he was to go to any other franchise. The only way he would be able to walk away without any egg on his face is if he would have won the Super Bowl for the Niners and got that third ring or whatnot. So, and then still he would have still been the villain when he goes to Pittsburgh. They would have been like, you left us, man. You're not throw the terrible towel at him. You're not Pittsburgh anymore. You're Niners. So, and then we're gonna always consider him, like what, just a guy that came in and won a Super Bowl for us. Are we gonna call him like he's not gonna be a franchise quarterback? He's gonna just be one of those guys that was like a stopgap. It's just that's what we wanted Jimmy to do. We wanted Jimmy to win the Super Bowl so we could rotate to Trey Lance. But all right,
Hey,
well,
just to be fair to Philip Rivers, he only has 9.
He has 11. He has 11.
couple they don't talk about. But hey, shout out to keeping up, and if you can do it, you can do it. If you can support them, support them. My parents, my dad, he has 5 brothers. He's got 2 sisters. I have a family. I only have 3 kids, but my brothers, there's 3 of my mom has 4 sons. I'm the first, and then she's got a daughter, so I have 5 siblings. So if you can have a big family, cool. Some people can't have big families, and some people shouldn't have big families. If you can't support them, it's it's not nice. And I even know a couple people, and I met this guy. I was working with him a year ago, and he says he's 18. And I said, 18 what? He's like, he's got 18 brothers and sisters. And I was like, whoa, how does your mom and dad talk to you, or even have time for you? He said they didn't. He's like, my older brother raised me, and then this and this and this. And I'm like, wow, so he's like, my dad's like, and starts telling me his age. And he was like, this is how old he was when I was born. And I'm like, wow, so it's just like, again, you should only have the amount that you can support. If you can support more, okay, I'm not going to tell you no, but yeah.
So we can put Philip Rivers on our practice squad.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how we
We could put him on our practice squad as long as we're not afraid to lose him. Because if another team wanted to come in and snatch him, but because he's a veteran, I think we can. Save him.
We
or
can
hide him.
protect like 4 players, I think.
Yeah, and help out the Rivers family too.
Yeah, all those kids. Hey, my neighbor has 8, and they're all good kids. They occasionally come raid my place, and it turns into chaos and mayhem, and all kinds of crazy stuff going on. That I think they don't allow them to be too chaotic in their house, so that's why they like coming over here.
I think Philip has like 9 girls and 2 boys. I know he makes girls though. He's kind of like Matt Stafford, but with more kids.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, I think it's one of those things, if you can do it, okay. If you can do it, okay. But if you can't, okay. There's a time and a place. It's like, how many cats or dogs do you want to own? At a certain point, you don't want to be that cat lady on the street, but
Now, now, Brian, remember, Joe Jackson put all of the Jackson Five into business.
oh man, did not. Oh, he did. He sure did. And you know what? They might be mad at him and stuff, but you know what? I bet they all could say, "Hey, I live in a nice house right now. Thank you somewhere." I'm sure they're saying something. They might be cursing him sometimes, but
Hmm.
um, they all have talent, and it was because he pushed him. So, good point. All right, so
So,
let's go to a fun picture real quick. This is probably one that's going to tickle everybody's belly. We won't keep it up for too long because it's going to probably cover our mugs here. So, um, do you remember? And I know you guys see the picture, but if you remember where you're at, maybe what you're doing, if it was a barbecue, if you're at a bar, this is the moment. I know I was at a barbecue. I know we were probably barbecuing at my house. So here it is. If anybody in the chat wants to throw out where they were at doing, I was watching this game live. I remember the Dallas Cowboys and Jeff Garcia went down the field, threw a touchdown. He runs down the field and puts his arms up like this and says, "Hey, I'm here," and basically, I don't know. I wouldn't say he disrespected the star, but he definitely made a lot of people mad. The following play, Emmett Smith ran down the field. Well, they didn't do it all right away, but the Cowboys did score really quickly. And then Emmett Smith scored the touchdown, and he picked the ball up and ran it all the way down the middle of the field, dropped down, put his knee on the and looked up everybody. I think he looked the 49ers in the face, and then the crowd, like, okay, do it again, like, let's go, and picked the ball up, ran off the field, and then here we go. T.O. scores again. He is going to the star. Well, at this point, the Cowboys, they were following him, and they ran down and tackled him. So,
yeah, George Teague hit him. George Teague
Yep.
hit him.
That's right. The safety.
and I know there's Cowboy fans. They could say his name just like you guys. And he's a Cowboy legend. He lives in a lot of people's homes. So, I mean, if that would have happened to us, somewhere along the ways, I would have probably tried to remember that guy's name too. Like, hey, you tackled that dude. Good job. Like, you are in my honorary Hall of Fame. So,
And when they do that, I would show them the last 10 seconds of the catch.
yeah, the catch is
Mhm.
man, that really crippled him. So the Niners and the Cowboys have played together, I want to say 39 times, and the series is
Hmm.
split 19-19, and we've tied one time.
We
We've
won
tied.
up on them. We had one on them.
Okay, that might be okay.
We got over
But
that Jimmy. We got over that Jerry Jones. I mean that Jimmy Johnson crap. We got over that. We had one more than them.
okay, so then maybe the score is now 20-19-1. But it was we do have a tie, and we've been back and forth, and we played them like three times, I want to say, in the 70s in the playoffs, and we just couldn't get the job done. And then we come up in the 80s and we finally get the catch, and things change for us. And actually, the reason that catch game happened is a year prior they had Plunkett in, and the Cowboys put up like 50 something points on the Niners. So after that, it's time to change the quarterback. It's time to move on. So then the quarterback was Joe, and we all know what happened from there. But what was your guys' thoughts? I mean, where were you? Do you guys know where you were at with T.O. when he did that, David? What were you doing? Were you barbecuing?
I was actually at a friend's house. We were all drinking beer, watching the game,
Hmm.
and then T.O. did that, and that guy ran up and smacked him, and I was like, oh, I was like, you know, like. Is the player in the wrong for hitting him? Because it was just one of those. Yeah, I'm not. I'm just gonna kick back, let this happen. It just it is what it is. But that's when To's head was swelling, though. I mean, I remember his first couple years. He was a really good wide receiver. He was quiet, but then it hit a point where his head swelled, and he was doing Like what sit ups in his driveway in front of the
Yeah,
reporters. Y'all remember that, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was doing that. Then he got into the being friends with Ocho Cinco. You guys remember him? And then he did everything he could do in Ocho Cinco, and then going to the Buffalo Bills. Do you guys remember the Michael Vick commercial with the Eagles? It wasn't the Eagles, but they had feathers on their helmet. Michael Vick and T.O. were scheming somehow to come together and make this super team. And Nike had put this really cool commercial out where Vic got the ball and he was, doing all this bootlegging stuff in the backfield. And then you seen T.O. running and running, and he's like running almost like 300 yards. It just seemed like the field would never end. And then he finally threw the ball before he got sacked. And then T.O. like dove out for it. And it was one of those moments you're like, wow, the NFL and Nike are really trying to clamor and build these super teams. And at that point, it was an eye opener for me because T.O. was just moving to different teams. He was just going to wherever he could go. He should have went to Baltimore. The Niners originally tried to trade him to Baltimore, and he went to the Players Association and complained, and we lost out on that. And then he ended up going to Dallas. That's where he wanted to go, and we got nothing out of the situation. So once again, shout out to the players for getting to go where they want to go. Everybody needs to be able to be respected and have a say, but sometimes you'd like to see your team come up on a player. If we're losing collateral or losing some kind of capital, you'd like to be compensated. But I'm not the biggest T.O. fan. I thought he had a little bit of a cancer issue in the locker room. And I know that's been stated before. So
Yeah.
all right, well, let's jump to the next picture. We don't have too many more. It's been a good time. I really appreciate you coming on, Damien, and
Oh, thank you.
you're always welcome. So one of those funny times in NFL history for me, in being a Cowboy hater and a Seahawk hater, I don't want to see either one of these teams, succeed. But we're gonna bring this picture up. Do either one of you guys remember this moment? Where you guys were at when it happened, and your thoughts? So
Jesus
this
Christ.
This is Tony Romo, and he's trying to hold the ball for a place kicker, for a field goal that would have won the game, and I think would have sent him to the Super Bowl if I'm correct, or it would have taken him to the next divisional round. I think what happened here is the Seahawks won, and
And
they went to Chicago, I think, to play after that, or they played the Saints afterwards. I can't remember, but I think it went to
that was
Chicago.
bad. That was bad. That's the same time when Romo took his little Cowboy crew, him and what's that? They had the Cowboys have a tight end. They used to always
Jason Witten.
yeah, Witten, him and a couple other players. They all celebrated before that game. They all went out to Hawaii or something. I forgot what it was. They wasn't prepared for that.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I was watching the game with my daughter. She's a Cowboys fan,
Uh-huh.
and I was watching the game for her with her, and she was young at this point though. But when that happened, she was like, typical Cowboy stuff." That's literally what she said. I was laughing. I was just laughing. I was like, "Oh man!" But keep in mind, she's not a dumb Cowboys fan. She doesn't think they're winning the Super Bowl with Dak Prescott at quarterback. So
No, and even if she believed that, doesn't make her dumb. It just makes her passionate. A
yeah,
cowboy faithful. Let's call her that, right? And that's not a bad thing. I used to argue with people back in 2004 and 2005 and say, no, there's a reason. Even though we have a bad team, we can still win the game. And they'd look at me and I say, oh no, you guys might miss a kick, and then they'd be like, oh, you're pulling strings out of, no, for reals. There's always a chance. Sometimes, you come in and you overestimate an opponent. Remember the Giants and Jeremy Shockey and that playoff game? They were supposed to just
Jeremy Shockey.
Yep, they're just supposed to just wipe the floor with us, and we come through and we held our own. And
See, that's a lack of discipline on the coach, though. That's a lack of like that's what I was talking about earlier. When the Cowboys had Jimmy Johnson, they had discipline. I mean, I don't like Jimmy Johnson, but I respect him. But
yeah,
very
again, yeah, you definitely don't have to like him, respect him, and that's.
But I respect Jimmy Johnson.
I got to shout out Lyle, my coworker back in the day after we beat the Giants in that comeback. He was mad.
Yeah, I just am not really a big Seahawk guy. I'm not a big Cowboy guy. I think that was the year that almost all the teams finished 7-9, and we should have won
Yeah,
that. And
and yeah,
so
they snuck in on that.
again, it's just like it's just funny, because it's a 7-9 team should never make the playoffs, but it happened, and we could have been it, but I think we lost to them, and that's why we either lost to them or the Rams, and that's why we didn't get in. But it's one of those things. But
Matt Hasselback.
oh man, he was one of those quarterbacks. He wasn't afraid, was he? And the only thing that I think scared him was Green Bay. After he said what he said in Green Bay in the playoff game, I think he stopped talking after that game. He'd come out and say, "We're gonna win. I guarantee. We want the ball, and we're gonna win." And then
That was
come out.
funny. We're gonna get the ball and we're gonna score. That's what he said, and it was like he was trolling his former teammates, is what he said he was doing. But man, did that backfire?
Oh man, yeah,
That's
that was just funny. There's just been those what if moments, or like call your shot moment, and yeah, he's standing there, pointing out there, like he just scored a home run, and you're playing against Green Bay in Green Bay. There's some things that you just go in humbly, but if you're gonna call your shot, hey, okay, the guy had some cojones, he definitely did, and I mean, they had Mike Holmgren, they definitely had a good squad. And
yeah,
it's just funny. One of those things to me is like the umbrella trees. Like Mike Holmgren was a 49er coach at one time. Then he went to
yeah. He's under
Green
that. He's
Bay.
under. I think he's under the Walsh tree.
Yes. Yes. And it's just one of those things. It's funny, like the Shanahan tree, it was another Walsh, thing. It's just, the George Seifert tree, people, again, it's, a Walsh tree, but, just all these people going different places. And yeah, I guess when you work so long in a certain area for such a long period of time, you develop, friends, or you find people and you start working with them, and, sure. But, it makes it, I guess, a smaller world. It really does, so. All right, Damien Lee, I appreciate you coming, man. Is there anything that you'd like to say before we get out of here? I want to have you on again. You're a great guest. I'd definitely like to see you come on a couple
I have
times.
a question. Okay.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to, give you a little bit more of a, thank you. And always appreciate you coming in on Sundays and, Saturdays, Sundays. You're always welcome. So go for it.
Now I know I've asked David this. What would you do with that money that CMC restructured? What would you do with that money?
Okay, so at this point, I think they restructured CMC, and did they restructure Trent Williams, or was it just CMC? So I think at this point we're at like $10 million over the cap.
It was just CMC, because we can't really restructure Trent Williams because he's too old. So you don't want to do that.
Yeah, you don't want to. But we had Jason Hurley on, and he had said that there was like 4 players that we could restructure, and I believe he did say Trent. I think he said Kittle. I think he said, like we just did with CMC, and I think there was one more. I want to say he said Juice. But so right now, I think we're about $10 million over the cap. I think they're trying to use that money to pay Bosa. And I'm expecting to see Bosa get somewhere about $35 million a year.
So when we re-sign Bosa, his cap hit for this year will drop.
Yeah.
And what are we gonna do with that money? Whatever money we have left over, it'll get added. We'll be able to spend it next offseason.
Yeah.
So I honestly think I personally think it's kind of an injury clause. Someone gets injured, we can trade for a player. We have cap space to acquire someone, or we can get an off the couch guy or two. But that's just what I think.
Yeah, and that's a good point. It really does. Either way, if they're saving it for like a bubble player, something to happen potentially, then great. But if nothing happens, then that money just rotates over for next year. But I think, like you said, something's going to happen with Bosa. It's going to drop his amount this year. He's going to get some guaranteed money. And I think again, he's going to get somewhere about $35 million. I know right now people are saying about 28-30, but I think the Niners are going to do them right and keep them happy. So that's what I think, Damien. What do you think's going on with the money?
What I would do with it,
Mm-hmm.
I would try to use 5 million on an impact player. I want somebody that can take the pressure off of CMC because he's old.
Mm-hmm.
I want that somebody under 25 that can just take it to the house. Something like Garrison Hurst,
Mm-hmm.
Ricky Waters. Um, Forgot that running back we had in the 70s, early 80s. We had somebody that can just once they get in second gear, they're gone.
Mm-hmm. So, do you think Debo's going to come back? We can stay as long as you've got more time. I would love to keep talking to you. I just don't want to, go over too much.
Oh, David knows how I feel about Debo.
If you want, go ahead and let everybody know and let me know. I think Debo personally is supposed to come back. I'm expecting him to come back this year, healthier and hungry.
Well, I know he's hungry. Um, um, I would play. I want Brandon Ayuk to shine this year. He's a better receiver,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm trading. Like I told David, I'm trading Kittle and Debo next year.
Oh wow.
I'm trading both of them, probably to Miami,
Okay.
because Danny Gray's good, and what's that guy's name? That one, Latal, uh,
Cameron Latu.
Latu, yeah, him.
Yeah. And Braden Willis. We drafted both of them. I honestly,
So
take your pick. Braden Willis's tape stands out more than Cameron Latu, but Cameron Latu's kind of he played linebacker his first 2 years, so
so he gets
he's
hard.
going to be instant impact on special teams while we develop the rest of his skill set.
Because we got a lot of good tradable assets now.
Mm-hmm.
We can, I mean, we're gonna have an older Kittle and
Mm-hmm.
an older Debo. Let's, the Cowboys got 11 picks for Herschel Walker, I think.
Yeah.
So we can find a sucker that'll take, Kittle or Debo. That one over there that looks like J Lo's ex-husband over there in Miami.
Mike McDaniels.
Yeah,
I'd like to see him win now, because I kind of want to see this group
yeah,
win. But
yeah.
just as soon as the group
We can
wins,
win with him now, but then trade
yeah,
him.
yeah,
Tell Mark Anthony. Tell Josh McDaniels, hey, give us 2 6 round picks. You can have both of them.
yeah,
Because I have my trade chart by we got a Anquan Bolden for a 6 round pick,
yeah. And Bolden
and
was
I think
good.
Anquan is better. Anquan is better than Debo, in my opinion.
That's a good point. That's a
And
good point, and a good similarity. Like Bolden was just, oh man, he did us so
Bolden
dirty when he
caught
was a
balls.
Cardinal. When he was
Anquan
a
caught
Cardinal.
balls.
Devo might be a little faster, but
I don't care.
oh
I
my
don't care.
gosh,
I just want somebody. I just want somebody that can catch the ball.
I think
Well,
Bolden was in
age wise, Debo is probably 5 years younger than Bolden was.
yeah,
And how wide receivers are valued these days, I think we'd be crazy not to get at least a couple second, maybe a second and a third for him. If you throw Kittle in the mix and Mike McDaniels goes all in, we could
yeah.
end up with like their top 3-4 picks next year.
Wow.
That's what I'm looking at right there.
All right, so is Mitchell going to be on the team come week 1? Are we trading Mitchell?
He can go too. He can go too.
I
I
think he's
want him.
Um,
I think he's hurt.
Availability is the best ability.
They're trying to keep
dude,
it quiet or something, huh?
he got hurt in the voluntary OTAs before like everything even started.
Yeah, I remember hearing something. I don't know if
The
Grant
man
said it
can't
or
stay
somebody.
healthy, and we're on a squad that it's hard to keep guys healthy. So while we've seen him do good things, I would love to see him be healthy going along with CMC all season long, but it's nothing we can count on.
Oh man. Okay, so Sermon's gone, or is not Sermon? Is TDP still here, or is he gone?
I like TDP. I like
Yeah,
TDP.
I like him
We
too, but I don't think he's going to be here come the week one. I think we got the other backs that we got for we got with
That guy that came from that college with that green and white. What's that? What was that school, David? That school with that running back man you was talking about? He had that white and green jersey. It wasn't the Spartans. I thought it was
It
the
was
Spartans.
you sure it wasn't Michigan?
I don't think.
Not the
I don't
Michigan?
know.
Michigan State?
Yes.
That's Michigan State. Green and white.
I know we got that guy from Oregon, Jake Colito, and he's I really
We
want to see
got
him.
Leonard, a guy with the last name of Leonard, and another guy, a Watt.
Oh, Watt's really good too.
Yep.
And he's really, really good. And Leonard's supposed to be really good too. So I could see us cleaning house with Mitchell and TDP, keeping keeping JP Mason, Mitchell, and Mitchell and TDP will go. And I see us keeping the two running backs, possibly keeping Colito and CMC being there ready to go. I
Would you
guess.
bring in Zeke?
Oh man, that's to play center. I don't know. I mean, like Zeke's not. I don't think he's done. I think there's still something left in him, but I don't know if we have.
I think he has one good year left in him. One
Yeah,
good year.
I just don't know if he has anything for us. Like if he's gonna outplay somebody. Then what he would be able to bring is like maybe maturity or maybe like a veteranship that other like just game experience that a rookie might not have. But I don't know if that's kind of like what Coleman did for us. But if he doesn't know Kyle's system, I don't see that working out for us. But yeah, Zeke, I think Zeke might end up with like the Cardinals or the Rams or something. I got
He's
a
trying to
funny
get. He's
we're
trying
not
to get to
done.
the Eagles. He's trying to go to the Eagles.
Yeah, yeah, I would too. If I was anybody in the league, I'd try to go to the Eagles right now. They got a good squad, but we'll see what happens. Okay, so what do you think about Ronnie Bell, our new candidate for the wide receiver that we got from Michigan?
He's going to be Jennings' replacement.
Yeah, I think so. I like
I like
Jennings,
his
but
hands. I
I
like his
think
hands.
I think he could end up getting. Jennings will probably be on the team this year, but I think Bell makes the team. A lot of people's brought up the similarities of him and Ray, but I think both of them could do a little different. But I think Bell's going to make our team this year. All right, David, let me throw it to you. Let's have you throw Damien a couple players that you might be excited to hear his thoughts on. And I know you talked to him a little bit, so I know you guys got some good players.
I want to hear his thoughts on Danny Gray.
Yeah.
Ah, that's why I'm in a hurry to get rid of Debo. I've seen that. I've seen Danny Gray play at SMU. He's good. He's very good. He had a half decent quarterback at SMU. He had, who's that? What quarter? That was that. We had a quarterback that threw one hot. Brian Hoyer. He had quarterbacks like that. So I like Danny Gray. Danny Gray is going to be our number 2 after Debo leaves.
Oh boy. See,
He can stretch the field. Look at his highlights. He can stretch the field.
and he's
He
the
just had
only
a bad.
player. He's
He
the
had a
only
bad
player.
quarterback at SMU.
Yeah. Yeah. All I was gonna say is he's the only player on our team that can physically do that too. So I don't see us getting rid of him for like we'd have to replace him with somebody, and I don't see them giving up on him
Mm-mm.
just yet. I think they
When
just
we
want
line
to
up,
open up a
when
little
we
bit.
line up with IU and Gray, that's going to be trouble.
Oh, man.
That's going to be
It
trouble.
is. It is.
You
So,
going
what on defense though? What about Kalia Davis?
That's a monster. That's a monster. I want to see how he plays against Pittsburgh. That's going to be my test for him. Is that Pittsburgh game? I want to see what that monster do because I'm hearing he's moving real good up there.
What's your opinion on the 49ers taking
The kicker.
number 99? What's your opinion on Mr. 99, Mr. Popular popularity, Mr. You can take him home to mom. Mr.
I didn't
Moody.
have
Moody.
I didn't have a problem with that pick. He's gonna give me 3 points. That's fine. So I have no problem with him.
I'm just kind of tickled because I really liked Robbie, and I seen the writing. More and more it was sounding like he wasn't coming back. I was still holding on to it, but at a certain point, I was like, we might need another kicker, and I started hearing
Got to
other.
get younger. We have to get young. That's the thing. We have to get younger. Right now, we're one of the oldest teams. We have to get younger.
Yes,
We
yes,
have to. That's why you have to send most of the Cabo crew out of here. Trade them
yeah,
off piece by piece.
yeah,
I
Well,
mean,
when we took him, I was more or less kind of shocked. But it was like, wow, these guys really did that. But then, as the draft goes, the Patriots trade up, and take the next best kicker. It's like,
hmm.
hold on a second here, you know. So there must have been some noise about people trading up and wanting kickers.
yep.
So we just said, yeah, we're not messing around. We're just going to take them right here.
Yeah, Belichick lost that Spygate skill. He don't have that spy stuff no good more. Mm-mm. Nah, the pick didn't bother me. I'm good with it. So
Was there any pick in particular in this year's draft that you're really, really clamoring for, or one that you're just like, we missed on?
mm, I was really wanting a DE,
Mm-hmm.
just a rotational player. Right now, the day of the draft, I was happy with the way the team is constructed. We just needed pieces. That's where we at right now. We need pieces. We don't need role. We don't need. We need pieces. And I was looking for
Mm-hmm.
somebody that can back up Bosa, or start next to Drake.
Well, we did get Robert Beal Jr. in the
Yeah.
later round.
So that solved problem. That solved my problem right there. So I mean, this ain't like I'm not. We're not the Rams. We don't need star players at every position.
No, no, they got they actually ended up trading back. They had 11 to start with, and they ended up with 13. And I honestly think all 13 of those guys are going to make that team.
I'm trying out tomorrow. I just want to be like on special teams though. I don't nothing.
Yeah, you want to come into the game, look super fresh, maybe run just a couple
Just
times.
run one time.
Got some cool highlights, so you come
No
over.
highlights. I don't know no highlights. I just want to run and act like I'm doing something, like that fake dive, like I'm doing
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's where you'll get those cool highlights, and then you'll come off the field, get some Gatorade, hold your helmet, people will be
yeah.
smiling at
No,
you, like, yeah, I did something, and then stand there for like 40 minutes and not do anything. Shout out to special teams because sometimes you only play one time a game. it's bad. If your team doesn't kick off, you only kick off if you score a touchdown. So if you guys are returning the ball in the beginning of the game, you come out at halftime. Well, if you got shut out, you're only kicking one time. So I've been on some bad football teams. Let's just say it like that. But
I was
yeah.
watching the Rams game, so that's why I brought that up.
All right, so I brought this up a couple times. What's your thoughts on the Brian Hoyer Rams game? He was wearing the black uniforms against Jared Goff. They were wearing, I believe, the yellow uniforms. It was like a 39-41 or 40 something point game. We almost won the game. The reason I'm bringing it up is it was one of those games at the beginning of the season, I think, and I kind of have a feeling if he would have won that game, they probably would have stuck with him.
I never liked Brian Hoyer. I never liked him.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of him, but I think they lost faith in him, because he was coming close.
I think he lost his job to C.J. Beathard.
Yes, he did.
Yeah,
I think he started seeing ghost out there, and the line stopped
yeah,
blocking for him.
he confused football and baseball. He was throwing one hoppers. I remember one game, Kyle pulled him because he threw a one hopper.
He threw the ball to Kyle one time.
Okay, I remember that game too. I remember that. Kyle is ineligible. Kyle is ineligible.
I was like, wow, if it's gonna happen, it just happens. So, Well,
Yeah, I remember. I was at the bar
Hey,
watching that game. I thought somebody
wasn't
was
Kyle a
fighting my
wide
beer.
receiver at one point?
yes.
I
For
thought his dad played football. Didn't
so
his dad play football?
Kyle was a wide receiver in Texas. I went to Texas Tech or something like that, or the Red Raiders or something like that. And then the quarterback, his buddy, who talks, who is saying everything about Mac Jones. His name's Sims, his son,
Mike Jones.
Chris Sims.
Chris Sims.
Yeah, Chris Sims was his quarterback in college. They have matching tattoos.
Hold on, Mac Jones. Who's that? You mean Michael McCormickle
Yeah.
Jones? Oh, okay, that's who you're talking about.
I mean, like, I don't know. Like, guys, I'm in a fraternity, but I don't have a tattoo with any of my brothers or anything like that. And if I do, I'm definitely not going to tell you guys because that's just one of those things. You just don't, I don't know. But for people to come out and know that Kyle and Chris have matching tattoos, I shouldn't know this, okay? This is too much, okay?
Oh, Brokeback Mountain.
Oh boy.
All right. Well, guys, I know Corey Davis is going to have a stream in a few minutes.
Oh yeah.
He's got a special announcement, something cool. And I hope you guys can go meet me over there. Damien, thank you for coming on. I'd love to have you come on again. We do schedule our weeks out a little bit, but if you ever want to do something special, reach out to David and we'll do it. We'll go live, And again, if you ever come into the chat, and you want to jump on, you just ask David. David will shoot you the text, or you just let me know how I can, same thing, get a hold of you. But man, I want to do this again. So thankful you were able to make it because I've been talking to you for a while. I know the force is strong with you, and I like I like hearing all that good stuff because I like me. So really appreciate you, David. I wanted you to go ahead and say what you got to say, and then we're gonna get out of here, guys.
Thanks for coming, Damien. It was great having you. We're gonna have to do this again sometimes. But I hacked up his name. It's Michael McCorkle Jones. My
Okay,
bad.
you know why?
Yep.
You know why he goes by that though. You know why he goes by that. He goes by Mike. He don't want to go by Mike because there was a rapper in the South that used to be called Mike Jones, and they all Mike Jones. So.
Yep. And he don't want to get confused, and he wants to be his own guy. But I strongly feel the reason we didn't draft him, it was because of that DUI.
Alcohol?
It was that DUI. Now, I like beer, but
Which
you got to
one?
put it down. You got to be able to. What do you? I like beer. Yeah, I do, and I like to try different alcohol sometimes, but you got to be safe and stuff, and you shouldn't drive. And if you're going to be, going into a sport or a profession where it's going to really dictate, like DUI will mess up your life. It really will. And for him to be as lucky as he was, and maybe have a well-off family like he does, and still have an opportunity to be able to go into the NFL, because there's a lot of guys. Probably me, if I would have got a DUI, I would have been kicked out of school or whatever, So, shout out to him and being able to get through, his quest, and good luck to you. But I'm glad we don't have him on the Niners. And with that, guys, thank you for coming. This is the David and Bryant Monday night show. We always like to have great guests like Damien, and we like to keep it, in house. We like to talk 49ers, and if you guys are ever interested in coming on the show, reach out to me or David. But again, look forward to having Damien Lee here on again. And if you guys haven't hit the subscribe button, me and David both have channels, and we're going to be doing this back and forth, so it won't always be here. So please subscribe to both channels. And Damien, again, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
With that, guys, go Niners.
Go Niners and F the Lambs.
And the Cowboys.
Yeah.